name is Steve, and I am the founder and CEO of Hives for Heroes.
So what inspired you to create Hives for Heroes?
Oh, it definitely wasn't my inspiration. One of our core values is connection and relationships. And when I was in a very dark place, I had a friend reach out to me, and she took me to a place that I didn't want to go, because what kind of Marine OEF veteran wants to go and play around with 10 to 50,000 bees, all these ladies trying to kill you, right? So it was really built around a friendship, and in a time that I needed some support and a massive amount of depression for about 3 years. And when I experienced the bees, when I started seeing how they work, how they operate, and the focus level in which I was able to kind of walk into, they shifted my perspective of life. I mean, the bees literally saved my life. And as we started sharing that publicly, more and more people had similar stories. And now we hear it quite often. It's like, man, the bees are incredible. How do they do this? And so we just want to be a conduit to allow others to do the same.
When you left the military with the transition, how challenging was it?
I would say it was extremely challenging, but I didn't know it yet. High achiever, as a lot of military professionals are, did well in professional life, promoted many times, moved companies, promoted again many times, had my own company, did well. And there was always something missing because I was overperforming, but I was under feeling, under thinking. And so my drive was towards alcohol, and it got me into a place of depression and isolation. And I pretty much lost everything in 2013. And so that shift for me wasn't one of, man, I can't do this. It was one of, I was avoiding trauma. I was avoiding that healthy transition from service, is what we call it now. And it got me. It got me out of nowhere. You think that there's like these successes in all these areas, which are true, but they're not all the successes we need. We still need that full holistic approach to life, not just financial, not just physical, but also that spiritual, emotional, and mental health that we strive to achieve through beekeeping.
Yeah, with the bees and veterans, how does it feel, basically helping two different populations?
It feels great. It's a steward. So the one thing is, it takes ego completely out of the occasion, right? Like, it's just gone. You're like, what am I doing? Nothing. But the great part is that we're becoming conduits for and allowing other people and creatures that are on this planet to thrive as they should. So creating opportunity is what we're doing. We've created a platform that people can easily get onto by going to hivesforheroes.com. They put an application. Somebody that doesn't know anything or knows a little bit about bees or just interested in bees gets connected to an experienced mentor in their local area. So they build the connection, they build the knowledge, the skills, the expertise by following and working with a peer in their local area. And this just does massive amounts of things, right? It's like totally lowering the cost for everything that you need in beekeeping because you're doing it with a friend that's already doing it, right? And now you're learning exponentially more because they already know what they're doing. So they're the ones doing the work. The bees are the ones doing the healing, and we get to sit back and just steward both of those activities. And it actually is phenomenal.
With helping, veterans, how does that help your mental health?
Oh, I would say that I love serving others. So another one of our core values is service. And we believe that serving other people well is a heck of a way to feel good every day, right? So there's this happiness, there's this joy. And as you're working with other people and providing those opportunities, right, through, for us, we call it access, resources, and funding, you're providing opportunities for people that might not even know they like it, have created businesses from it now all over the country, which is fantastic. But for my mental health, it's about serving the veteran now, serving the bee in a vocal standpoint of conservation, pollination, native pollinating gardens, not mowing your yard every week because it has to be perfect, right? Because we have these plants that want to be pollinated, of working with the veterans and being an advocate for, and also encouraging and having other leaders step up. So it's not just one person doing this. This is literally hundreds of people in leadership roles across the United States that are working with Hives for Heroes, utilizing the same mantras and being leaders in their states and in their communities.
What feedback have you gotten from veterans that have been in the program?
I mean, the biggest feedback that we get is it literally saved my life. Like, this is an opportunity that is unlike anything else because it's outside of our control. And if you know anything about PTS and some other disorders and or issues that we go through as humans, control is a big aspect, right? Because there's fear associated with that. That could come from trauma. That could just come from whatever your mind is thinking. But you don't have control over the bees. So for us, it actually is a really calming aspect where you focus on stewardship, right? You focus on taking care of the bees, but also with an open hand, allow them to do whatever they need to do. And that translates into life, right? You're like stewarding the best you can, you're giving as much as you can, you're doing the best that you can, but it's okay if life changes. It's okay if things move out of your life because that's what has happened to us. People that have lost brothers and sisters, maybe in arms or maybe just family members. But it's a really good way to think for us. It's a really good way to think about what it looks like to care and love other things and people, right? It's not always going to be in your control, and that's okay, right? And that takes a ton of stress off. It takes a really strong person to say, I did the best that I could. I served this person well, and they left. Awesome. Maybe they're doing even better. And that's the hope, is that if we continue to serve and we continue to, in our case, increase the bee population as well, well, now a lot of things are being affected. Veterans and first responders are becoming more healthy in their own life. We don't have to micromanage that. They're doing that already through the bees. And now the bees are doing their service all throughout the United States in a time that it has depleting populations.
When you first started working with bees, did you realize how therapeutic it would be?
I had no idea how therapeutic it would be in a science-based level. I knew that almost instantly they changed my perspective of life. And I felt that, like, physiologically, emotionally, I felt that. So I knew it was okay for me, but that means what? One thing, right? That's on a selfish level, that was good. Now that we understand science behind it, the bees are operating the key of C. This is actually a really good way to meditate. Monks meditate through this. I mean, there is a lot of science backing that the bees are actually extremely healthy to be around you, right? Not just the environment, because we already know those effects, but really you. And without now, by no means should you not be going to traditional therapy and things of that nature, but this is a natural type therapy that simply works. And in collaboration with or in conjunction with licensed professionals, such as people that we work with at Hope for the Warriors and others in other communities, this is really impactful to the individual. And if we can impact the individual in a super positive way, in a lifelong hobby, right, with friends, with community, with mission, with purpose, and supplement that with organizations that collaborate with us for the support of that veteran and first responder returning, I mean, that's a really, really powerful organization holistically, right? It's really, really cool. But I can tell you what, I did not know it to begin with, but I feel it now. We can see the effects of it.
Well, just talking to you now, I could hear the passion in your voice, uh, just talking about it. Uh, what are some of the things that motivate you?
For us, it is making this. My background's in Lean and Six Sigma, so efficiency is one thing that motivates me right now. Um, at early stages, I was able to talk to every single person in the organization on the phone. We connected them, we paired them, and I really actually miss that aspect. But as you grow, other people get to fill those roles. Charles, the state leads, and those people get to literally talk to the individuals every day. And for me, it's how do we not miss one, right? Because it's so important. So whether it's a spreadsheet or this or that, we want to make sure that we were so efficient and effective, just like the bees, right? The bees are extremely efficient and effective. So we are working to continue to model what the bees do. We only grow as the hive needs growth. We have roles and responsibilities, systems in place. Our leaders are developed from the origination of the organization. So we utilize the bees as our metaphor to continue growing as needed to support the needs in the community, such as the veterans and first responders desiring to do something different, to do something, in our opinion, very heroic. right? Being able to serve in your backyard with a hive of bees is serving 3 to 5 miles around you. That's pretty incredible. And I know your neighbors will love you too, because you got honey to give out, you know? But
Exactly.
that's where our focus is. Our focus is on growth. So with growth comes funding, comes resources, comes the network and relationships, the additional resources that are necessary for those that are in the organization, because we are human. So bees do not solve everything for us, you know, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially. So how can we continue to grow the resources inside so that the veterans and first responders are doing well, like thriving inside of their environments? And that just goes, and you know, then you pollinate outside of that, right? Using bee metaphors, and now other people are interested, more resources, etc. So efficiency and effectiveness of the organization, making sure that we are forward and forward thinking, making sure that the feedback that we get from not only the veterans and first responders, but also the mentors, our collaborators, which are universities like University of Florida, University of California, Texas A&M, large organizations as beekeeping associations, which are throughout the United States, corporate sponsors like HPE, Technip FMC, ISS Global. These are all things that we learn from, get feedback from, and become a better organization to the best of our abilities every day.
Yeah, when you started this, did you think it would grow the way it has?
Absolutely not. There was never an intent. The intent of the organization was to serve a veteran, and that veteran was in our neighborhood, right? It was a neighbor, it was somebody that you knew, it was just something that we could get together, fellowship, maybe do something good. But really, it's getting off the house, getting out of the house, getting off the couch, getting out of the bar. Those simple things, those simple choices or lifestyle change was our intent. And we did well at that. I mean, we had a handful of people here in Houston, Texas, doing removals and rescues, and again, serving the community. And then before you knew it, we were saying, wow, if this is this good for us, is it maybe good for somebody else, right? And these like Instagram and things like that, social media is such a powerful and impactful
Yeah.
piece of our lives now, as we all know. And so somebody reached out from Nevada, and we were like, we can't do that. How can we afford that? So we had to shift our mindset from being a program, like a specific program in a central location with all the resources and funding attached to that, to a network. And then that network ended up bringing in the community. And so we could do a lot, many hands make light work type mentality. If we can do a lot and have huge impact that we can see when we have created this network.
Where do you want to see the organization next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's a great question. Right now, we're in the process of building a scholarship fund. So we're building a large scholarship fund for the long run, meaning every veteran and first responder that has a desire to learn beekeeping through any type of education, we would like to be able to refund everything that they do inside of that education. So with these universities that I mentioned earlier, the veteran or first responder will pay their first class, and then we will reimburse them every time they are successful in graduating that next level. So that's hugely important, because from beekeeping, it can be beekeeping 101 all the way to master beekeepers, like 5 years of education. And that's super powerful
Wow.
because it keeps you on a path, right? You have a plan, you have a path, you have support, you have connections, and you're doing better every day. You have a place to look forward to. And at the end of it, after all your earned successes, it's all reimbursed and it's at no cost to you. So that's the biggest thing that we want to do. So there's a 5-year plan right there for a single veteran. But continued scholarships, we did a great one last year, which was called a Be More scholarship, and we were able to give $1,000 to each veteran that was awarded the scholarship, and that went to a local beekeeping store, where now the veteran went to that local beekeeping store, met somebody, got $1,000 worth of equipment and gear that were able to start their own apiary or their own business. So that's like kind of that small business side of things. So we want to continue being able to fund those that are desire to be either continued education or going on in their practical skills, and allowing the opportunity for anybody that wants to be involved in beekeeping to do so, whether it's 1 year or a lifetime.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today and share. And when I was researching, I'm like, wow, this is amazing nonprofit. It's just so unique.
We have such a wonderful time, and I like that you say unique, because we're it's just a little bit different. We're doing things differently, kind of shaking up things, thinking outside the box, which is funny because bees are usually in the box, right? So we're thinking outside the box to support not only, of course, the veteran, the first responder, but our environment, those that steward the environment, and just building great collaborations with stewardship as a forefront. So again, those core values of connecting with each other again, connecting with yourself, connecting with nature, finding purpose again. We lose that sometimes getting out of the military in that transition, because we knew exactly what we were supposed to do. Well, now we can as well by stewarding these bees, and then building healthy, accountable relationships with each other, whether it's a local community or as we have our Facebook group pages and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
We talk all over the country. And we love every aspect of that, because skills and knowledge are transferred, which is unbelievable. And then serving others well. So those are the things that we do all through that access, those resources and funding of our nation's heroes.